Hey, I'm Eric. I'm making a game. I already had one session a day. I'm going on to session number 2 here. Just continuing the work, which is on dialogue scripting inside of a level. And I will do a very quick demo because I like to put a demo at the front of every stream session. And then I'll get to work. Now, I'm not broadcasting from my work computer to the stream just yet. Let me fix that. Alright, fixed. Alright, quick run through of all this. So there's a level. It's one of the story levels in the game where there's a bunch of scripted events that occur around dialogue and players and characters' positions in the level. And there's a rule in this game. The game is called the Godkiller. That I don't do cutscenes. So if I've got a story to tell, that story happens within the game. Those two characters are talking down there. One is the hands, those are God, or that's the character is God. Then there's Billy down here. There's some face animation stuff that will end up making it clear that they're speaking, but for now, that's you know what? Let me do a maximize demo. Boom, boom. Okay, maximize the screen when I play. You'll be able to see things better. Okay. And I will do the voices a little bit to help visualize because we don't have the audio in yet. God, what's going on? Billy. Yes? Billy. Yes, God? You must fight, Billy. Oh, I don't think... It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Billy. What? Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Billy, it's okay. You must fight. Billy! It's okay, Billy. It is okay. It begins! Okay, I've got this other character here. Her name is M. M, you must push Billy. Push him. Push Billy. Push him. Push Billy now. Push Billy. M. Push Billy. M. This is how he talks. He's like a big bully. He just keeps on repeating the same stuff, and it is programmed to kind of go on infinitely until you go into the next state. Push him. Push Billy. Push. And then, good, you have pushed Billy. I didn't like it. Now you must smash him against a wall. Well, why? Do not test me, M. I don't want to die. Billy, it is okay. It is okay, Billy. It's okay. It is okay. It is okay. It is okay. It is okay. M, you must smash him. Alright. So, what gets discovered as you're chasing around Billy, perhaps, is that you can't catch him. Okay? Now there is a little hint here. There's a door here that says safe. And when you run out of places to explore in this pretty small area, eventually you're going to come up here, up these steps. Now, things are scripted for Cowardly Billy to just run away. And he is now standing by the door that says safe. Now, if you had played the previous levels that led up to this one, you'd know that the key to opening gates or doors with words on them is finding a formation of wooden blocks that spells the same word and disrupting it. So you can go up to here and you can push the bottommost one, which destroys it. And then that gate opens up. Billy is now able to leave through the safe gate. Okay. So some of my state stuff didn't work there, some of the new stuff I put in. But I'll look into it, I'll fix it. So he was supposed to move on dialogue-wise to some other stuff. Anyway, so Billy went down here. I can chase after him. Good. He died? Yes. I didn't know. Did it feel good to kill? No. Alright, so the babble speech kept going. That transition that would have cleared it didn't happen. Okay. So once you've killed Billy, who should not be talking now, this door would open, you'd be able to leave through the level exit. So that's the demo. Now I'm going to get to fixing the little bits of dialogue that are remaining there. It's probably going to be a short stream. I'm thinking of adding one new character movement activity called Cower, where you stay in place and you face whoever you're afraid of and put your hands up like, yeah. I could use that state at the very beginning when Billy is standing in place, not wanting to be pushed, and I can use it when he gets cornered in the dead end later on. So I may add that in this session too. But let's fix the dialogue bug. So when the state changed to safe open, maybe it never did. I would have expected the speech to clear here, the active babble speech set to null. I think this didn't get set. Okay, and I think it got set briefly, and then down here there was something that overrode it. Put him back to first push. So let's just do else if. That's probably it. Okay. So everything I wanted was if you entered the dead end zone. Let's make it stop real fast. Or okay. think this might be all of the dialogue. I wanted to make one more variant. So that's properly dry. It's supposed to return the speech ID. reason to return the speech ID is that the caller may want to check and see if that particular speech has finished being played. So now that I've got this, I can do say now if no. Let's just leave it. Okay, let me think. Did I miss any other dialogue? Because I think I've gotten the point now. I'm just checking to see if all the dialogue plays correctly. Turn off maximize on play in case some good stuff comes up in the console that I want to see. That new function works. I'm still not detecting the door being opened. Oh, I know why. No, maybe I don't. Okay, so I think the way I'd expect it to work is after the first push, I would have gone up here. I would have gone up to the tower and pushed the block that would have opened the safe gate. And then, oh, dang it, I've got this thing still playing. All right, let's just debug it. So that must be returning false. Let me check this. Okay, that I don't get. Maybe it's a case where I need to check the topmost block, or the block that has the first letter. All right, so I mean, it is open though. Okay, there's the controller data. once... Okay, is matched, is false, is open, is false. Okay. So that would mean that it should have called... Huh? Wait a minute. Oh, this is only going to get called on the very first letter. Okay, so we'll call this from the very first letter. It'll say open connected gates. Okay, it's going to call each of these. Open, 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 open. I think it would be okay for me to update controller data is open on all of the pieces instead of just the one that's the controller. At some point I'm going to need that information. Okay, got it. Controller data is only supposed to be used on the first one though, so okay, I'll save. Done. Let's try this again. There we go. I'm not sure what happened to the dialogue though. Yeah. Good. Okay, he doesn't double scream. Okay, but why did this not play? It might have been like a debug thing. Like maybe this got... Maybe these got queued up, but the amount of time I had in the debugger while I was on a paused line meant that it didn't play. Maybe. I'll try it one more time. If so, I think that's the last dialogue bug that I know about. There we go, there's the dialogue. Okay, that fixed that bug. Let me make the cowering activity, which I think could be generally useful. You know what? Maybe I should just extend it from fleeing. All right, pros and cons. If I just make it another behavior that's built into fleeing, then all creatures will get a kind of realistic reaction when they're cornered. So I could say, if you have no squares to go to, that would move you away from the player, then you cower at that point. I kind of like that. The only con to it is that I can't explicitly have Billy cower right at the beginning when he's not fleeing. But if I think that's important dramatically, I can add it back in as a separate state and still have it be included with fleeing. So I think this is the way to do it. Let me take a look. Bystander piece. Okay, this is where I would add it in. Might be a little tricky. Because the code here, it returns false if you can't go anywhere. But a reason that you might not be able to go anywhere is that another creature is blocking you. That's what this blocking reactant is for. But if there is no blocking reactant, then you are maybe legitimately unable to move away, and you won't be able to later. So I guess I could put it here. Okay. I gotta remember exactly what true or false means, though. Yeah, that's what it means. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. This, and then we need direction. You want him to face the thing he's afraid of. So for that, let's do find direction to player. And I'm trying not to let's do find direction to piece. I'm trying not to pass around CRHs more than makes sense to. I've got some policies around that, but it allocates every time I do that, so. Okay. Did I already write something like this? Let's take a look at CRH util. Actually, CRH delta, that's another one. No. think this actually might be coupled to specific behavior that I need here. So I'll go ahead and just write it inside the bystander class for now. Alright, so int DC equals return okay, let's see. Return DC greater than 1, direction east, otherwise direction west. Okay, else, and then I want to check for the case of, man, it shouldn't be this ever. I was going to check for the no direction case where it's right on top of them, but you know, I think it's not really worth handling that particular edge case. Okay. Then I'll make the new effect. Effects are they're events that come back from the logic that will be displayed within the scene. So there's a very careful separation of logic and, or you could call it controller code and view code. Things that update the logical data never directly update the view, but they can return back effects, which the calling code that updates the logic can use to make updates to the view. Trying to find a simple one to reuse, but I don't know. Do I got the stuff for rotating in here? Yeah, set facing direction. It's going to be the animator util that does it. Okay, let me just copy over a few things. way more than I need in here. Oh, here it is. Move and rotate. But I'm not going to actually move. Do I have another one just to rotate? I do. Okay. Let me go and see if it's expecting the transform of the top or the one underneath. Okay, so let's go piece effect util. Call this parent transform to remove ambiguity for me. This is kind of an expensive call. I should remember later on to do something better. Okay. Like I might create some kind of structure that. Yeah, never mind. I'll leave that for later. No premature optimization. Okay, that is probably all I need there. I'll go ahead and delete all this other reference. Then I need to get a little more light down that corner, because that's a dramatic place and things need to be seen there. Also, create a new one called cower. I gotta pass the transform too. It's not ready yet. Gonna get my lighting fixed over here. This is my question to Unity. Why the uneven lighting on two different surfaces? Why would that happen that way? What if I make it brighter? Okay, suddenly it starts to do the right thing. Okay, let's set this to something more dramatic. Should I do shadows? That looks all right. Let's see how all this stuff works. Now, if this is coded right, he should turn around to face me up here. Oh, he's not trapped yet. There he did. He turned around to face me. He's still doing it. Awesome. And then he goes back to normal. He turns around. Because there's something kind of weird about just looking straight ahead at a dead-end wall. You would only do that while you were moving towards it. So if I give him the animation where he cowers, I think that'll do it. Alright, let me go grab a quick cup of coffee and I'll come back up. Almost got to the end of this. Oh, I should have tested the lighting too, but I forgot to. Almost have arena to 100%. So I'll be right back. Alright, back to it. So I want to make the cower animation. This is kind of gross. Why? After I turn on the shadows, after supposedly it would be checking against things that block the shadows, why would it bleed off to this other area? Unity. Okay. Intensity 2, maybe. It's just so weird and random and not like any result that anyone would want. The way it works. The lighting, the way it doesn't work. The random things it does, which seem to have nothing to do with what you'd expect, anyone would expect. I used to think, I'm just doing it wrong. I just need to learn a little bit more. Now I just think it's just nonsense. Maybe they're more to blame. It's a good theory. Then my rant just expands a little bit, like, okay, Unity, you bought this third-party asset. You made an official part of your packages. Why would you not have it all work out of the box? But you're right. It would be useful to know. Is it a pro builder specific thing? Because I mean, I could. God, that'd be expensive in time just to convert every prefab I've got into a non-pro builder equivalent, and then redo the levels. Yeah. Which is just really weird. I'm not going to worry about it bleeding through. It can bleed through a tiny bit. It's not that big a deal. This stuff here with the seams. I will try one thing though. This has been a hypothesis on my mind. Maybe the extra sides that I've got inside of here, the hidden sides, are somehow influencing it. So let me try. I'll just hide that. It won't hurt anything to delete these either, because I'll just be getting rid of polygons that aren't actually part of the scene. Take that out. Then the ones I just hid, let's put them back in. Okay, well, there's the corresponding operation on these other guys. So let's get rid of those. I gotta be a little bit careful with this though. Yeah. That's the trouble. Because this floor polygon is actually used. What about this one? Where's that visible at? Nowhere. Okay, well, I'll take that out. Worst case, I can undo all this. Put this guy back in. Let's see, does it affect anything? Well, I still see this. really colossal dark to light seam over there. So I would say no, it didn't affect anything. The other thing is, I can strip the ProBuilder object from this as well, or the scripts that are ProBuilder. And it will it should just result in the mesh just being a plain ordinary mesh. That wouldn't really prove anything unless it fixed it. If it fixed it, then it would prove something. If it didn't fix it, then there might still be some kind of residue of ProBuilder. Looks the same. We got all this junk down here in the face util. That kind of makes sense. I understand why, actually. I need to remove this floor decorator script. Okay. All right. So still doing that. Let's remove the wall decorator script. Okay, so I guess that didn't prove anything. But okay, let's try even another test. Create a non-ProBuilder object cube, and let's give it scale 5. And I'll set the material to be the same as this. What is it? Bath wall tile A. Okay. Then just make a copy of this, put it up top here. Well, that seems better. I mean, that's not giving me the seam, at least. I don't know. I think I could see in my future something like I create a new scene. I put things into it slowly and see the first moment where, or the simplest situation I can create that causes the problem. Then that might give me some insights. There's so much going on here. I've got like 20 light sources, and I've got ProBuilder objects, and this and that. I've got the post-rendering on the camera. So there's a lot going on. So it's kind of hard to narrow it down to the exact things that cause it. All right, the carrying animation. Let's take one that kind of looks right for it already. That's a one frame thing. was not bad. I think Stan, though. Stan's the right one. Okay. Because it's kind of long and already, so I can make the least number of changes to it. Let's duplicate that. Did it do anything? Okay. Okay, action number equals 9, so I'll make another one for cower. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I always forget something on all of these, though. I can never remember everything, and something goes wrong, and I have to rack my brain to figure out what it is. Okay, so cower, and I want to go and work on that animation. Digital Zombies. It's been a while. I've not started it yet. Little things keep on postponing it, including me and my psychological issues. Now, I should be careful. You don't know me that well. I should say there are some tasks that are hard for me to get done. And I haven't been procrastinating working on the game, but I have been procrastinating a few tasks which are fairly difficult. Just kind of like work stress and stuff makes me gravitate towards a few things. And then I made the mistake of, at the beginning of the weekend where I was going to work on the hard thing, just starting like a thing to get like one level done, and that level is sort of taking most of the weekend. But basically, I'm going to finish up this level, probably in a matter of minutes, not hours. And then I'm going to work on getting the shader to work in Windows. The shader I wrote for making outlines around everything. And I'll probably do that off stream because it involves a lot of shuttling of code and builds off to a Windows machine, which is really boring for a stream. So, yeah, that's the long way of describing it. How are things with you? If you haven't already just like disappeared in the middle of my lengthy monologue there. Yeah, like I really like making levels. Levels are just a joyous task for me. So that's the kind of thing, like if work kicked my ass and I've got some time in the evening, I make levels every time. Levels are fun. Moved to a new apartment. I think you're in Germany, right? City near Frankfurt. Moved to a new apartment. Is it hard with like COVID and everything to apartment shop? I mean, I know in the US it's probably like twice as hard. Just with the paranoia people have, and like you gotta deal with movers and stuff, and like, it's kind of a pain in the ass, and it brings risks. Yeah, let's see. So if I have that guy selected and I grab Cower, I think I can play Cower on him. No? Well, good. I mean, moving's already hard. It's always a pain in the ass. Always a disruption, and then you're like living in Boxland after you arrive, and yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoy your new place. Yeah, with the one upside of finding an apartment in the middle of a recession, I guess. I don't know what we call this thing. It's an economic downturn with all kinds of people without jobs and living off of unemployment. The one upside is it's a renter's market. If you have some hope of paying the rent in the U.S., even if you don't have a job, you can still get a place. I mean, I don't have to worry about that, but my wife's son definitely does. stupid animations, they always take me way too long because I can't remember all the little stupid things I have to do. There's a lot of power in this whole animation system. But I always kind of forget all the different clicks and things I got to bring up and stuff like that. So, offset, I thought if I go to cower, I should be able to play cower on that guy. It's not working. So let me try one of the other ones that at least worked before. Do stand. Okay, I think I have to bring up the animation inside of the animation window while it's selected in the scene window. So if I do U and then I play this, there we go. That's stand, let's do cower. It's just a copy of stand, but now I get to change it. Key thing would be getting his initial pose correct. Taking a look at him. So if he's cowering, he's going to be hunched down. Wondering if the one from land is better for that. Let me play that. Just want to remind myself, what did I do to get him down here? Man, I've got so many keyframes in here. I modified like almost everything. It's a ridiculous amount of keyframes. I don't remember doing all that work. Usually I just grab like maybe 5 or 6 things and fiddle with those, and that usually suffices. How did I end up changing so many things? Alright, I just gotta start tweaking. So let's see, we go do the bigger bones first. What are they? Spine. Doesn't seem to do anything. Okay. Did you help me like with the falling animation? I think you happened to jump in just like at the perfect times. Because you actually know You're like one of the few Unity devs in my chatters that actually knows about animations, like character animations. So get the complete list. You're saying, oh, I could add more properties. Yeah. Well, first I'm just looking at like what I just made some changes and they didn't do anything. So why is that? This always takes me a long time. Anything that, like if I was being smart, I would just try to do all the animation stuff at one time, because I always have to load in everything into my head and then forget about it. I won't be able to help myself. I'll forget all the stuff that I learned. Alright, so I've got this guy selected. Okay, so clearly this is being applied to him. Let me pick one. I just want to see it, some kind of change. Okay, there we go. I can affect his initial pose. There, good. That's all. It's kind of like when you're making a change to a program, you just make some kind of change and you verify you can see it, just to prove that you have some ability to control things. Okay. So then if I look at the spine, can I do anything with this? Okay, there we go. There we go. I didn't want to change that particular one, but what's this other one here? That makes sense to me. Like I do like their animation controller stuff. It's pretty powerful, but to author the animations, it's not great. And I keep kind of thinking like I don't have that much more to do, so I'm not ready to jump to another tool. I'll just do a little more work. What's this? Okay, that's the one I just messed with. Okay, that's twisting stuff. Exactly. Okay, what? So if it's not spine, upper chest, that would make him bend over. Oh, here's chest, front, back. This is probably it. Okay. Then what's this? Left, right, twist left. I don't want that. Not yet, at least. Then I can fix his legs next. Left, upper leg, front, back. Lower leg, stretch. Another thing about this thing, which is actually, I think it's pretty good, they've abstracted the transformations you do to the different parts of the mesh pretty well with all this. So it does feel like most of the time, like these numbers, you can fiddle around with them, and it usually looks like something a human body could actually do, unless you go to extremes. So these are pretty intuitive. It's just not a real nice animation tool. But it never feels hopeless to me. It just takes a lot longer than I think it should take. Right upper leg, front back. Okay. Now let's get his arms out in front of him, protecting himself. That'll be a big thing for making it look like cowering. Right shoulder. I need something besides the shoulder for it to move forward. Okay. Because his shoulders are coming forward like... This is a little contortionist. Better fix that. Yeah, if I was starting over to do all the animations again, I'd start looking around for tools. Or if I felt like there was a whole bunch of animation work coming up, I'd be like, okay, what tools are there? Let's author them someplace else. Right shoulder. Okay, left shoulder I gotta fix. It looks contorted. Oh, I forgot. This is a key one right here. I was using the shoulders too much to try to get these movements. Okay, so that's not bad. Okay. So then let's go to the right shoulder, or right arm. Oh yeah. Oh no. At one point I got into the Leap Motion for recording hand gestures. It was so close to almost being a solution. And in the end I just said, no, I'm not going to get professional results out of this. It's going to be hell. So yeah, motion capture feels like one of those things where you invest up front a large amount, thousands of dollars, and then it's not so bad. And then there's probably going to be some cheapy solutions that you get tricked into, and then it just wastes a lot of your time. But I don't know much about it. I mean, I'm sure you know more about it than I do. But yeah, I was intrigued by it too. The other one I was kind of intrigued by for animation was it was a puppet-based animation in Adobe with the idea that like you would use your face and your hands, and maybe not your hands, but like press keys that would control your hands while the audio is playing, and you would perform like a puppeteer what you want the thing to do. I like cheap animation tricks, but yeah. By cheap, I don't mean that the initial outlay is cheap, but like the effort after you get everything set up right is really cheap. That I like stuff like that. Okay, left arm. No, I gotta do the right arm. I already did the left. Okay, right arm. Right arm. Up. Left, right. Oh, that's the head. Yeah. I'm still waiting for a fully automated audio, or even like face to lips animation. The Visemes. I've never seen one that was good. But AI, that's exactly the kind of thing AI would be perfect for, because you would be able to train it with a traditional animator who's skilled at lip sync animation, and that would be the result that you want the neural net to come up with, and then you'd feed in as input the audio and maybe the video of the face, and then of an actor who's speaking, and bam, you get really good lip sync. But the problem is with 2D lip sync animation, people that come at it in a technical way, they don't understand that there's a need to stylize. There's some artistry involved. It's not simply repeating what you see in a video to get good animation. Left. Okay, so to really make it, to sell it that he's afraid, you need the palms outstretched. Left hand I already got. Do the right hand. It was by the arm. No? Where was it at? Don't want to do individual fingers yet. Where did I see the other one? Go back up here. Yeah, left hand down, up, left hand in, out. So it should be a right hand down, up. Here it is. It's just not, it's not alphabetical. They're sort of arranging it in a logical way that makes sense. Big to small kind of thing. That's not bad. Let's take a look at him. Okay, I'm rough on his spine. Let me fix that. Or what was it? It was chest. Chest, front, back. Let's... Okay, so that's the upper chest. I think there's another one for lower chest. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's chest. There's another one for upper chest. Yeah, I wrote my own tool, and it's designed for people like me that have spent a lot of time listening to audio and kind of scrubbing over it quickly, as opposed to a more traditional animator. And it's pretty fast for me. I actually created kind of an unofficial race between myself and a professional lip sync animator, and she is awesome at it, and she used her tool. I think she used Toon Boom. Then I used my tool, the one I wrote for myself, and I, not to be mean against her or anything, but I got through in about a quarter of the time she did. So my tool's pretty good, actually. It's just nobody knows how to use it but me, because it's not like a fully fleshed out thing. It's got lots of little caveats to it. But yeah, I think I'll show you a little bit of it. God damn, all these bots putting ads for their hot girls online in my comments. Really? Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I'm Jamie.
Anyways, here's like an animation I made with my tool.
Jensen, and I'm here to change your life. Founder of 3 Fortune 500 companies, advisor to kings and presidents, blues musician, hostage negotiator. These are all things I could easily be at any moment of my choosing. Every goal I set becomes a reality. Do you want to know why?
So anyways, there's that. Then, like, I'm trying to... It seemed to have cut off like the really old videos from the end. Oh, here we go. That would be buried in the middle of it. Well, okay. So there's a cutoff on how many videos it'll show inside of here. So in the Godkiller, it's going to be 2D on top of 3D. So I've got this thing on the player, and she's got the face player here. I can turn it on and make it visible. I think it'll show once I start. There's stuff like that controls the iris and what mood she's in and what she's going to look at and stuff like that. Let me see if I can get it to show so you can see what it'll look like. There it is. Okay, so the idea is that while a character is talking, this 2D face will pop up above them, and it will have one of 11 different emotions. The eye will point towards whatever they're looking at. The audio will play, and the lips will be synced to match to the audio. And I think that's going to be a lot better for this type of game, because I don't want to zoom in close to. Oh, dang it! That stuff I did earlier messed up part of the geometry. I'll have to fix it. Okay. Yeah. Because I honestly, unless it's really well done, I never enjoy looking at 3D animated faces as much as I do 2D animated. And in this game, the camera view always has everyone as a little speck. So unless I want to do cutscenes, I'm not going to have the camera go zoom into their face while they're talking. Turn that off. And with the M, I've got her face sheet done. Yeah. So she's got the Viseme mouths over here. If she's not talking, then the lower half of her face shows an appropriate emotion. There's neutral, confused, sad, etc. The irises move towards whatever the target is inside of the game. There's blinking that happens automatically. Yeah, so the code's even there to do all that. There's probably a few bugs in it, but I've seen it working. I kind of need some more audio to make it worth the time, like more final audio to make it worth the time to do all the authoring of the Viseme events. I don't want to do a whole bunch of that while I don't actually have the voiceover for it. But I'll get to it. It's going to look good. It will look good. Oh, these guys here. Yeah. These statues here are from Evasive Bits, who's regular on the stream here. He threw me a couple of these statues. I thought it was pretty neat. I said a couple of these statues. He gave me one and then I reused it to make two. Like he hauled two statues over to me. Okay, so let's fix this. The rest of this cowering animation. Yeah, and I think also, depending on how my funding goes, I can also delegate like a lot of the task of going out and making all the speech events and stuff like that to some other people. I just might have to get my tool a little more refined, or find some other workflow that's gonna work well. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's get back to this animation. All right. Cower. Let's get those fingers out. Get them out wide. This is left hand. Let's get that thumb first. Okay, so right hand, right hand, right hand. Thumb first. That's pretty good. I think I'll open that a little bit more. No, I messed something up. He's all double jointed now. So let's see, next one. Let's fix that little finger. Bring this guy back in. I'm trying to be somewhat maximal with the hands because they're so friggin' small. But if I go past the limit of what looks normal, then that's not good. Take a look at that. Okay, I did a few things a little too much. So the pinky is maybe overstretched. This guy here, what's that? That's the ring finger. So bring you back in a little bit. pretty good. Wrists upraised, pretty good. Let's look at it straight down. It's not bad. Okay. So then, if I just move to some of these other keyframes and see what it looks like. Or maybe I should just get rid of these other keyframes. Yeah, I guess that's the end of that. So this whole thing is 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds, something like that. So the way I like to do it is copy all the keys. Not all of them though, not all of them. Just, the thing is, I don't want like slow movements to the next keyframe. I want, for the adjustments I make, to bring the start of them in a little bit. So first I'll go ahead and make some kind of adjustment. We'll go with the left arm. Down, up. Okay. Then I can take these two keys and just bring them in just a little bit. And that way it won't be like that sort of slow movement that I don't like. Okay. So then let's pick another point up here. Not symmetrical with the first. For the right arm, that was the left arm, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, covering up your face, I kind of like that. Okay, then have the start of it happen a little bit earlier. Alright, so then if I go here and just scrub through it, it's not bad. Okay. I'm just tweaking with the twist a little bit because that'll give a nice overall body movement so it doesn't look like just his arms are moving on their own. Okay. But if I'm going to do that, then I need to adjust his feet a little bit. I'm doing this a little bit sloppy, to be honest. It's not great work, but I think with such a tiny character, it's going to be good enough. Okay, let's go to the next set of movements. I think I'll keep it on his arms. I'll take the previous keyframe, put it out closer to this one to avoid that gross drifting effect I hate. And let's see. So that was left, and then we do right. Then that might be enough. If I just take the starting keyframe at the very top, or a set of them, copy it to the end, that should give me a looper. Just go all the way to the end, paste. All right. Well, that's interesting. I always get these weird things that seem to have nothing to do with what I asked for. So it seemed like if I just copied all those keyframes to the end, that it should make an effort to if I go from here, this keyframe, to this one, and there's nothing in between, like it should just stay put. But it's adding in extra stuff. So let's yank out that. Let's just see what happens if I go. Okay. I suppose what I could do is just take the ones that actually changed. Copy them to the end. Maybe that's less disruptive. I suspect that what it's doing in its tweening is similar when you do like a Bezier curve and you have 2 points right next to each other. Instead of just keeping it the same, it just throws a big giant loop out to connect to those 2 points, even though they're right next to each other. Let's do one at a time for a little bit. Okay, that seems fine. Okay, there's the drift I hate. Check and fix. Okay, let me try this. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe I should have higher standards, but I don't know. I think that works. Maybe the legs aren't great. Yeah, let me take the legs out. That's it. Okay, I can live with that. All right, so let's save all that. Actually, before I do that, because I've had some problems before, I just want to say if I regressed on the other animations. Looks okay. The mistake that the mistake I often make. Where is it? No, I think it's okay. I think it's good. All right. Wait. Root contains motion curves. Nah. Okay. So now let me finish writing all the glue code. That might do it. Let's shrink this down so I can see stuff and play away. fix this game object down there. I think it's hidden. I think that's all it is. Hopefully I didn't delete a... I might have. He's cowering. I love it. It's a little ungraceful, this lack of rotation. It's kind of more visible when he's just standing in one place. If he's got some action that he's doing, doesn't seem to matter as much. Okay, there's some kind of bug there where I'm setting the facing direction incorrectly. It has to do with north-south versus west-east. Okay, let me see. That's right. Alright, let me fix the missing game object polygon thing down there. There, irritating. Alright, so clearly I botched up this thing. Let me fix it. That's the one. It's a simple piece, easy to just replace. Let's just make a new one. In fact, I can use the old one to help me create a new one faster. Okay, I guess that does it. Delete the old one. Bam. So it seems okay. The animation seems fine. There's a few little glitchy bits in. I'm going to play with it a little bit more and just think about how I want to handle it. Maybe not glitchy, but just low quality. And it might be I'd leave those last touches for later, but it's just that 90-degree instant turn. Like I said, it doesn't look bad if you're taking an action that moves you someplace else. Then the 90-degree turn, it's not bothersome. But when he's just standing in place, going like that, back and forth, it's not so good. And there's another one where if you're equidistant, no, that one's all right. Oh, this he turns all the way around. Something about being one and one. But I don't know why he's choosing the one direction that would be entirely away from me. Like here he's choosing one of the directions that's facing towards me. Same here. Same here. Same with, like, here's equidistant on the X and Z axis. So it's not just being equidistant, it's being close to him like that. Let me see if it's the same over here. Yep. Oh, here he's just going north, and he was also going north up above too. But it's more correct in this case because that happens to be a direction facing the player. Yeah, he goes north. So if DC is 1 and DR is 1, he goes north. Let me take a look at that code. So I expect DC to be 1, DR to be -1. Yep. Is the absolute value of both greater? No. So I could change the B. Okay, so you're proposing. So he'd always be cowering down no matter which way you were relative to him. So he'd just always face south. He wouldn't care where you were relative to him. And then that would also maybe stop me from having to worry about the rotation animation. I think that's what you're proposing, which, if it is, that's reasonable. Okay, so it's going to go down here, and then I'm saying that if dr... Oh, this is wrong. I see why. I see what this problem is. It should be greater than 0, not 1. Okay, duh. All right. That's fine. That part I can fix. Easy. But I am going to try the way I think you suggested just for a moment. Just to see what that's like. I hate it when I make changes to the code while it's still running in the player. So that's going to come back with a bunch of errors. Okay. So let's see what it looks like when it's just one kind of cowering all the time. South, and that does kind of solve the thing about the rotation. I was thinking like maybe a hybrid of the two things, the original way and this new way, which is he could continue to cower in the same direction he began with. So I could pick an initial direction that made sense, and he just sticks in that same direction. Okay. So I come down here and he cowers facing south. It's not as convincing, you know. It looks like he's like he just got out of a drug deal and he's went off to a corner to examine what he got from the dealer. Something like that. There, yeah. He's like, is this the good Coke or is this some baking soda? Yeah. Okay. So I know how to fix that one bug at least. I'll verify that bug is fixed. And then the two options I'm entertaining at this point for the rotation issue, which looks super low quality to me, is actually putting in like maybe a 4-frame rotation of the transform, not in the animation. That wouldn't be too hard. And another one is just having him stick to whatever rotation he began with when he started cowering. Which is something a coward would do. They're like, kind of give up on like figuring out how to stay safe if they're just stuck in a corner. Alright. But let me make sure I at least was able to fix that one bug. And in preparation for anything you might find, I'm going to get ready to receive a URL if you happen to find one that is good. Then I'll be able to copy and paste it. Make sure no audio comes through in this tab. There we go. Let's check it out. Yeah, I mean, you can make an animation which is neutral to the direction of the thing that you're cowering from, like this. That makes some sense. Because this guy, he's in that state where it's like, I don't know who's gonna kill me. I'm from what angle, and I'm going fetal over here, you know. Just please don't hurt me. I totally give up any ability to defend myself, other than covering my head with my arms. He doesn't have like a defensive stance that takes into account his attacker in any way. Just kind of a very low level mercy please type of a stance he's given up. It's not bad. It's a good idea. Okay, I'm going to call that the third idea. Okay, fix that bug. Pretty sure I'll check the other sides, other corners too. Yeah, that's that. That one. All right, thinking about the rotation. Yeah, that feels like it could work. All right, let me write out some of these options. Now it's starting to get to the point where I might not be able to properly consider them all if I don't write them out. Coward. Okay. Number one. transform, rotate on y-axis over, well, I won't say number of frames, but we'll say 0.2 seconds or something like that. So just be really fast rotation animation. Number 2, keep initial rotation over duration of a cower. Number 3, modify animation to be direction independent. Number 4, like number 3, but rotate head towards the player. So I'd have to make sure that the animation doesn't have any keyframes for the head. And I'd write some code. Let's see, arm overhead raised enough to show. Yeah. So I'm picturing the rotation in my head. The trouble with this game is that there's never any time to show a slow animation. That's not quite true. If a character must do something in reaction to a step, that reaction must be very close to instant. I mean, the budget is like 10 milliseconds or something like that. It's real fast. If I don't, you know, if I say like, okay, give him time to just sort of like slowly turn around, then I got to write a whole bunch of state machine type stuff that I don't want to do. The rotation, it might be a nice general purpose thing because I could be working it into the step, the walking animations. I don't think so. I'm kidding myself with that. Okay. Thing is, yeah, it's got to happen so fast. Like even like LARPing, it's not gonna. No. Actually, you said the exact right approach though for that. You move. Yeah, I was arguing against you, but you're actually saying the thing I would need to do to make it work, which is it would mostly be moved over right at the start and then kind of settle into place. You got a little bit of time. This one, I'll start putting the minuses and pluses. Minus some cowers will look less realistic. Arms outstretched away from player. Extra state tracking. Presentation layer. Okay. Minus unlikely to look very natural. Just better than nothing. Minus is that less tied to the player, so less interesting to look at. The minus on this one is most amount of time to code. I think I'm going to try number one. I'm going to try number one. I'll try to do it fast and see it quickly instead of doing it perfect. Because that'll tell me if I just want to go with that or if I want to try one of the other ones that are probably a little bit more. I don't know. If number one looks okay, that one seems like a pretty decent option. So for this, it's like a rotation util, rotate over time. Let me see how I used it elsewhere. Just do transform from rotation to rotation. Okay, then just keep calling this until it's rotated to the new position. Okay, we'll start with that. Let's see. If rotate over time equals null, let's create it. That will also be my way to figure out that it's the first call. I want the offset, not the parent transform. So let's get the offset. double check this. So rotate over time returns true if you should keep calling it. Yeah. False if we're done. Good. Okay, from rotation equals offset transform. I think Euler angles is what we're using. Yep. Okay. And then I just want to make sure I didn't already write this code. I think I did. Piece effect util. Yeah, get rotation for direction. I've got get facing direction as well. Okay. I suppose let's do piece of effect util. Get rotation for direction, face direction. So let's try that to start. I'll say to do check for already facing. Okay. Also, this should not stop. This. Okay, so we'll say while the dude is rotating, I can still move. Let me try it. Should probably give myself some shortcuts to get down to the arena faster. It's not bad. It's not bad. A little silly. Like it doesn't look, there's low quality. It's not natural. It looks a little bit frenetic. I think I can live with it though. I mean, that's kind of silly, but I don't know. It's not a super realistic game. I think it's like indie good. It's AA good. Exactly. Alright, let me do this. Let me make a few more corrections. Small optimization. Let's say is that going to take parent transform or offset transform? Let me go look at that. Okay, it's going to take the parent transform. So let me just rename that. Keep on having to come check this, so I might as well change the name of the parameter so it stops me from continuing to check it. Okay. And also I'll do this other version of the function in case the caller already has the offset, so that I don't need to look it up each time it gets called. DZ, have an awesome day in your new apartment. Don't let the boxes get out of hand. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the suggestions, which I definitely helped shape my thinking. Okay, so let me go. So get facing direction, get offset facing direction. Okay, that looks right. So go back over to here. Let's get I guess I don't really need that. I don't like to make things before I need them. So let's put that back how it was. Okay, just junk that. Come back to here. We'll say nah, I take it back again because it is a double lookup. It's a double lookup. Let's redo those changes. Dang it. in calling order. Okay. Over here, I'll look up the offset. And we'll say if we're already facing the right way, just return false, nothing more to do. Okay, that should do it. And I will get rid of some coffee and come back and play test this, and that'll probably be the end of the stream. Let's see. All right, be right back. Back to it. Let's test it out. Okay. There he is, cowering. Backtracking and get the bonus just for a full test. Just want to make sure there's no extra dialogue that pops up after this point. like a stream to me. Arena to 100%. It is the recreation of a level that got corrupted and then remade and then refactored, and but this is it. I'm happy with the result. It's the best of 3 versions of the arena that I've made. And I think this is a great time to stop the stream. Thanks for everyone that joined me here. Stopping the stream!